Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, TAMI Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey. Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome to Sunday Bringers of the Light. I am sitting here just sun gazing out my bedroom window. I may have to snap a little photo of this. It's like so good. All right. Welcome, one and all. Welcome, welcome. Today, we are going to continue our little chat about the Dawn Key and Bringers of the Light and your special assignments that were downloaded to you as part one of this show last Sunday. Was it last Sunday? I don't know when it was. About a week ago. I want to thank everyone who joins this show. I know you join from many different places and spaces, either on YouTube, on the actual podcast itself, which is available through many different podcast providers, Audible and Google and Apple, and more than I think I even am aware of as the feed gets updated in different different podcast providers. All right, so right now I'm going to wrap us all in love light and light love and invite in the spirit guides who overlight this show: Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, the Pleiadians, the Bringers of the Light. I'm waiting for the rainbow maker in my room to start turning. Grab your favorite cup of morning brew. Well, you may not be listening to this in the morning, but grab your favorite cup of whatever. I am recording this Sunday morning, January 8th. All right, here's what we're going to do today. We are going to continue to talk about the Bringers of the Light, the Dawn Key, this special thing that came up. And we're going to read from a couple of chapters of the Dawn Key, Brannigan's Well, whatever it wants to be called, channelings. And, hold on. What comes up in these channelings, Spirit saying for this particular one, is also guidance for you, direction, divine downloads, and information for mid-January. So we're going to have fun with this one. I thought that the first download, the first part of this Dawn Key was very kind of like, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Because it was just speaking in such like high frequency words that I felt like, it was just kind of, I don't know, it was very activating. However, today we're going to have a little bit more of fun. Not that the ascension process isn't fun, but we're going to get a little bit more into child's play today. Excuse me. Still voice, not back to 100. Oh, I don't know if this is going to end. But okay, so let me get myself situated here. So a couple of little housekeeping things just before we get into this that I want y'all to be aware of. We are planning for, in the past couple of shows, we have been gearing up for the 2023 Energies Healing and Energy Optimization show that I'm going to be recording next week, probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. That is a show where we're going to be doing massive energy clearing on anything prior to 2023. And then you should be coming to that show with a list of your goals and intentions for 2023, because we are going to be putting some we're going to be calling in all the guides to help bring blessings and massively charge your goals and intentions for the year ahead. You do have a little bit of a homework assignment before you get there, though. I did post on the community tab in YouTube and on I think it's on my Instagram, kind of what you need to do prior to that show. But really, to get yourself prepped, you'd want to go back and watch the 2023 energies update, or listen to it. Sorry. For my podcast listeners, sorry, I tend to like lean towards thinking I'm always on YouTube, but you want to listen or watch the, because I love all of y'all equally. Listen or watch the 2023 energies overview. And then if you want to go more in depth, I just did before this a 2023 month by month card reading. I think that's the pictures I've been posting on the YouTube community tab and on Instagram are showing you the things that we drew for those different shows. So there we get that one. We give you a month by month picture, overarching energies. And from that, I was thinking that you could start building your list of your goals and intentions. If you listen to the month by month, then you'll be able to see how the energies are supporting you in maybe some of the timelines that you're setting for yourself. So if you're project managing your goals, the goals that are in your control, that is, the ones that are out of your control, there's not a lot you can do about those, other than set the intention and let the universe work on your behalf. But there's things that are in your control. So you can use that map that I made for the month by month to help you with the setting of your timelines, because there's certain months in there that were really good for manifesting and receiving. And there were others that were more of giving months where you would be doing more things in terms of energy output instead of receiving. Sorry, I apologize for all the coughing. It's just whatever little ascension thing cold I got at Thanksgiving is still hanging on here in January. All right. That was the first thing. So get ready for that, because the list that you make, the thing I'm trying to say is the list that you make is the list that you're going to bring to the 2023 Energy Optimization Show. And we're going to be supercharging that list, because a week or so after that show is all systems go in terms of the energies being able to really push you and move you forward. We'll have Mars and Mercury direct. We will have a new moon, and we will also have the Lunar New Year, the year of the rabbit. The rabbit, you guys, manifesting proliferation, just lots of things, right? Lots of things coming up for you to like leap forward into 2023. The second thing I wanted to just share briefly is I have created a blog. I've been wanting to do this for quite some time. I just couldn't find a good blog platform that I really enjoyed. And I ended up on Blogger, which seems so generic, but the layout that I've chosen is really fun. And it's like a magazine layout, but you can choose all these different ways you want to view the blog. You can view it like Polaroids. I don't know, you have to kind of go play with it. But that is where I'll be posting the transcripts to these shows. So if you want to read the channelings, they're there on the blog. The link is always in all the show notes. If you want to, and in those blog posts as well, I'm not just dumping the transcript. I'm putting some like behind the scenes pictures. I am linking to the video, the YouTube video that I do, in case you want to take a look at that. And as we move along here, I'm going to be adding a lot more. That's going to be the place I was telling you where I think we can like put videos that aren't YouTube videos, where I can like play music and we can do more like, out there stuff. And we'll have a different forum for more creative work. So if you are so inclined, go support the blog, go take a look at it. More to follow, more fun things will be happening there. Finally, all right. So let's go ahead and get into this mid-January channeling. So if you didn't hear the first show, which I encourage you to go back and get the activation for that. It really does have a lot of divine downloads for you and a lot of key codes and activations within the channeling. But it was Dakar, I've just a brief synopsis if you're following this as a story, but Dakar from Bringers to the Light, he knows that, I guess he's kind of getting a little antsy, like he knows there's something more that he wants in his life, and he's doing a lot of soul searching. So when you listen to these channelings that I'm reading here, listen with your master senses, okay? So it's not just a story about Abigail and Dakar and the Bringers of the Light. Dakar represents the divine masculine. I know I have quite a few divine masculine listening. I think our analytics still have the divine masculine at about 50% of my listener base and watcher base, listener base. So I know you're out there. I know you're listening. And I appreciate all of your support energetically, whether, you subscribe or follow or whatever you do. I know you're out there as part of the TLC for the Soul Collective, and I'm very happy that you're here. But the divine masculine, in this case, Dakar, he's had a lot of options he had to weigh. He was coming to the conclusion that he needed an upgrade. He had a deep knowing that he needed to do something and he was needed somewhere else. And he felt like rather than just let the universe choose on his behalf, that he was going to make a choice to do something different. He hoped that his divine feminine, Abigail, his divine counterpart, would come along. And there was this place he wanted to go see. Well, let's just say there was a place he wanted to go see with these dark secrets and all these magical things. And so he had been down at the Wishing Well Tavern in Tessalok. I wish there was somebody out there. There's got to be somebody out there that follows these stories and can start making a map of an illustrated map or something of these towns. It's just not in me to get it there right now. If someone had Rockaway Point and Tessalok, I have like a very rudimentary one. There's got to be somebody out there who is. Never mind. Can't lead you. So he's daydreaming and all that, and he hears this secret from the fairy folk at the Wishing Well Tavern that there's this place where there's this magical sword, and this magical sword has been hidden around some well in this certain location, and he wants to go there and kind of really see, is that legend or is that fairy folklore really true? And so he sets that as an intention. However, doesn't really get very far on that right now because he gets pulled into something else. So Abigail is at her bakery in Rockaway Point called Crust. She is trying to work on making imolk buns. She's a little early though, unless she's going to freeze them. She's got 3 weeks until imolk. But she is working on making imolk buns because there is a Rockaway Point shadow walk on imolk. And the townsfolk gather and they walk down to the pier by the lighthouse and they look for their shadow. It's like the Groundhog Day, but it's actually the people of the town do it themselves. So, hey. So that could be something that goes on our Rockaway Point bulletin board. Down by the Rockaway Point Lighthouse is the little flyer for, I need to start making these flyers, a little flyer for the Rockaway Point Shadow Walk on February 2nd. So now we get into the energies of mid-January. So let's have some fun. And as I go along, I will tease out these metaphors or things that I think are pertinent for you all to know about for the mid-Jan time frame. And if I go to let me just walk. Oh my God, my body's so old. The physical body. I got the card this morning. World changes are affecting you. As I was like, so tired feeling. But I did shovel quite a bit of snow yesterday, trying to make a path from my back door out to my back fence, my back gate. I'm going to post this transcript on the blog. I'm going to put pictures in there for you guys of all the shoveling that I've done. All right, so I'm getting my 2023 month by month little thing. I guess I'll put a picture of this too on the blog if you read it. If you read the transcript, you'll have this picture. But for January, the keywords were fire and desire. And world changes did come out for January. World changes are affecting you. And some big thing happening over Egypt. Some big like starburst influx thing happening over Egypt. And we got Wands energy for January. So world changes, I definitely feel that in the physical body. I've just been very, very, very tired. I don't know, personally, this winter weather is very exhausting for me just because the amount of activity I have to do to get in and out of the house every day. So many putting on of layers, so many times. It's just exhausting. Okay, so I don't know hopefully the weather's nice where you're at. It is actually very beautiful today. It's going to be over 20 degrees and the sun is very bright. So that means the real feel will be over 30 and maybe some of this snow will start melting. All right, let's go into chapter 2. This is dawn key of a new day. So we don't know what this dawn key is. It came up somewhere. Oh, I don't think it's come up yet. Okay, sorry. Let me just read. Dawn key of a new day. When we ask you, friends, to tell us how you are doing, it is in order for you to check in with yourself. So don't we get that a lot? Like, how are you doing? Oh, fine. What answer are you providing to that question? Can you find a better thinking feeling of how your day is going? And if it is going in spades, and you feel the highest vibration of love and light, then ask yourself how you can share that joy with someone else. For that is the way that we will all prosper and progress through the art of love and service to others. And it was on that day that we find Dakar yet again asking himself how he wants his life to be. So Divine Masculine is still pondering their future, their goals, their wishes, intentions. When he thinks about it right now, he is content, but he feels like there is still so much more. And as he's frosting milk buns in the warmth of Crest's kitchen, he feels a sense of longing come over him. He wants to know so much more about his life. He wants to experience so much more than he already has, and yet he's not quite sure how. Then, as if out of nowhere, his phone rings. It's obvious. Remember wishes? Be careful what you wish for. His phone rings. It's obviously Highcore, which is his boss from Bringers to the Light HQ. It's obviously Highcore since Dakar gave him a special ringtone of Runnin' with the Night by Lionel Richie. It wasn't that the song spoke about anything having to do with Highcore. Instead, it reminded him of the first time he and Abigail danced together one long ago night in the fall of 2011. He had just met the then 19-year-old beauty and had felt something instantaneously. Now, this is the first time we're getting a backstory on Dakar and Abigail, so I found this kind of interesting, and I'm going to share something here in a minute. But it would be 3 more years until they would meet again. And at that point, he had been a young cadet with the Bringers of the Light and too busy to take on a relationship. And in the summer of 2019, he had met her yet again for the 3rd time. He'd known all along that she was the one, and now he'd had the courage and the availability to ask her out. So maybe those dates are significant for some of you in your relationship. I don't know why that's coming in. But that date that they had that started at the Thames River in London and went all the way to the Seine in Paris had lasted 4 days and nights. and he knew then he could never part ways with her again. There's a lot coming in here about Paris. So let's pay attention to that, about France. I think that these may be places that I bring up that you are guided to send energy to yourself, or maybe you already do grid work or gate work in these areas that are being mentioned here. Because our listeners are from all over the world, as we talked about when we did the 2022 summary of the show. We're reaching right now 26 different countries with this show. So maybe you are in or by the Thames in London, the Seine in Paris, or Egypt. I think the Nile comes up. So rivers are coming up quite a bit. Yes, bodies of water that flow like ley lines themselves, with good intentions and high vibes and energy clearing, because they're moving bodies of water. Hopefully they're moving, unless they're frozen. The river here is completely frozen right now, and everyone's out there doing their ice fishing. I need to take some pictures of ice fishing for you guys that I can put up on the blog. But not that I'll be doing it. No. Other people are doing it. But you could be guided to either physically or etherically go to these locations and do some grid work. That 4-day-long interlude, this was their date that lasted 4 days, was also the first time he had been made known about the Dawn Key. It was a strange thing in a drawing he had seen in a little Paris art gallery. The artist, La Senega, had drawn an ambiguous chalk drawing of a scene out of some New Age sacred space somewhere on the planet, Descartes had surmised. In the middle of the drawing, but slightly blurred by the artist's fingerprint, was the key. So this Dawn Key that's coming up, like, we still can't see it clearly. And the guides are saying it's still not ready for us to use yet. So we're being given an advance preview, I guess, of a sacred tool that we're going to be able to have access to the more we continue to raise our consciousness and raise our vibe. I think some way showers are going to be given this tool to help others. It's a karma clearing tool. Descartes had instantly felt drawn to it and had paid the art gallery a handsome price to obtain the drawing. He had since then tracked down La Senega, only to find one mysterious twist and turn after another. It had finally, last year, led him to the banks of the Nile, there we go, another river, and a little abode of the artist himself. Descartes hadn't taken the time to call and ask for a meeting. He took the first flight out of London and off to Egypt, and had turned up dusty and tired at La Senega's door one Saturday morning. "Tell me about the Dawn Key," he'd said, before La Senega could close the door all the way. At that the door opened, and the artist himself stood before Descartes. He was slight in build, almost androgynous in nature. He could have passed for fairy or something even more ancient, but Descartes didn't so much want to know the artist as much as he wanted to understand the Dawn Key. Well, of course, a stranger might not entirely give up his secrets to another, lesser-known individual, and Descartes realized he was not dealing with a mortal being. It would take small talk and heart connection before he would get any answers, and he realized this could take longer than he thought. Now, Descartes was definitely heart-connected and a romantic at heart, but his tactics and training with the Bringers of the Light had made him hard to connect with on the lighter side. He was more action-oriented and take charge before the heart openings would step in. It was Abigail who had softened his heart beyond recognition of the old, sad, worn-out one it had been before. And so he tried to imagine Abigail before him for the first time, and in doing so his heart opened, and La Senega could feel the invitation to have a real, intimate conversation. So maybe y'all will be having intimate conversations with somebody that's been hard for you to open up with in the past. this mid-January time frame. So maybe that's a way to go deeper in with this person, is to, whoever this is to just think about someone you really, really love. Let your heart space open, and then have the tete-a-tete. Oh, tete-a-tete. See, French is coming in again. Do I have listeners in France? Oh, or Canada, because French, Canadian listeners, I don't. I know I have a lot of people up in Canada listen. I don't know. Anyway, have this tete-a-tete. All right. So, La Senega, this interesting artist of the Dawn Key, lets Dakar in his house. And we have chapter 3, A Heart Knows the Way. La Senega invited Dakar inside, making sure to tell him to leave his shoes at the door. Dakar acquiesced, even though relinquishing his shoes made him feel a little vulnerable. If La Senega were to turn on him, then Dakar might have a hard time in his bare feet. This is so funny. Oh, this is the chapter that makes me laugh. His best moves were made in his soft leather boots that Abigail had had made for him by the fairies of Lemonlock. They felt like bare feet, but had a magical jump step built in that would instantaneously engage at the feeling of trouble around. That magic jump step had saved him on many an occasion. Oh, right, the Dawn Key. I'm just reading the channeling as I channel it. Oh, right, the Dawn Key. La Senega put the kettle on to boil and took a small box out from under a floorboard in the hallway. He could tell Dakar meant him no harm, so he felt at ease, showing him the inner sanctity of his home. A little too trusting, maybe? So there's something about boundaries coming up here with this person that you're talking to, that you're going to have this heart-to-heart conversation with. Beings of the stars haven't learned the old ways of the earth, and so living in a devil-may-care sort of way, La Senega had successfully navigated old earth with his star being cunning and a little help from the Deep Nine at Bringers of the Light HQ. The Deep Nine were a pack of white wolves who very successfully had been recruited from the Alaskan tundra and taken to the etheric HQ for the purposes of using their incredible telepathic powers for the good of the light. High Corps boss, Mrs. Tallywag, had assigned the Deep Nine to watch over La Senega, a.k.a. To watch over La Senega, a.k.a. Bleep Narkna Deep Bloop, on his home star of Beetlejuice. The name La Senega being assigned to him at his initiation ceremony because, well, it seemed like an artist's name. You guys, this Deep Nine, this wolf pack, I was getting a wolf pack, like they were calling them wolf pack number 9. They were calling themselves wolf pack number 9. That was connecting with me over this last full moon. I have not connected in with them any further, but I find this very interesting and feel like I want to explore that a little bit more. So we might do something special with that. So La Senega's name, Bleep Narkna Deep Bloop, on his home star of Beetlejuice. La Senega had been assigned to watch over Paris. See, somebody here is supposed to be watching over Paris. And the ley line down to the Nile. So he transported back and forth between the two, taking his artwork, otherwise known as pieces of the divine plan and puzzle, to sell at the Le Petit Galerie and Patisserie. The intention was that those of the light that needed to find them there would. So this being from the stars, Bleep Narkna Deep Bloop, has been making these drawings of what has been channeled to him as the divine plan and puzzle. And he's been setting them in this art gallery, this tiny little art gallery in Paris for bringers of the light or way showers that need to find them to go find these pieces of the puzzle. So this has come up before in terms of astral projection. It's not astral projection because this is not a 3D location. This is not a 3D place, right? This place, this art gallery is coming up in a channeling, which means if you're looking for pieces of your own divine plan and divine puzzle, this has come up before with the love spell, but if you're looking for pieces of your own divine plan and divine puzzle, then you could, in your meditation space or in your time that you, I don't know, whatever time you want to set aside, you could etherically go to, you have to kind of have the name, Le Petit Galerie and Patisserie in Paris, and you can go and look through the artwork that they have there at the gallery, and you can see if there's any pieces there that speak to you regarding your own divine plan and puzzle. So you might want to set the intention to do a little meditation around that, as it's coming up right now. Maybe as you're preparing your list for 2023, the goals and intentions. And such was how Dakar had happened upon that horrible rough draft of the Dawn Key that Bleep had taken by mistake. But the gallery owner, Mrs. Powderpoof, had been immediately drawn to the Dawn Key, even if it was smudged by Bleep's fingerprint in acrylic gloss. "A key to save humanity," Bleep said, handing the key to Dakar. "If it's so important, why is it hidden in a box under your floorboard?" Dakar asked with uncertainty. Maybe Highcore was sending him on some practical joke, disguised as a real case. His birthday was coming up soon, and Highcore and gang usually did something suspicious like this to help him celebrate. "It is to be used by the humans to clear karma right away, like a lightning stick. But they will have to earn this gift, and this is just a prototype," Bleep said with aplomb, thinking that Dakar must think him completely idiotic and gullible. "And how will they earn it?" Dakar said, feeling a little woozy. "Oh, the tea," was all he had a chance to say before falling to the floor. Bleep picked up Dakar's cup and washed it out in the sink. He picked up his transponder and wired a message to Beetlejuice High Command. "We've got him, sir." Oh my God. Okay, so for those of you that are just following as a story, like, what? What the what, Dakar? I mean, drugged tea? Come on. Couldn't you have maybe seen that coming? The shoes. Like, he was so focused on needing the shoes. Oh my gosh. So what is going on here? What are they going to do? What is Beetlejuice, the star? This is the star. Beetlejuice High Command. What do they need with a bringer of the light? I have no idea. We're going to tease that out. We've already given you the download about going to the Petite Galerie and Patisserie. If you want to look through the artwork there, if there's anything there, any puzzle works for your own divine plan and puzzle. And there looks like there's going to be some sort of conversation maybe coming up for you mid-month, thereabouts, where you're going to have to open your heart a little bit more to have that conversation. And for the divine masculine, because the divine masculine is heavily figured in these first 3 chapters, like Abigail is pretty much nowhere to be found, then I just still feel like, and it was coming into like the divine masculine heart space, really being worked on right now. Really being worked on right now. And that's in all of us, right? You don't have to just be a divine masculine. There could be this space within your own heart space, whether you're a divine feminine or divine masculine, this emperor energy that you're trying to cultivate as part of your ascension process that's being worked on right now. Because a lot came out here about the divine masculine just being very action-oriented and not being in their heart space as much. And so for those of you that are more a divine feminine, but you have very divine masculine qualities, like you're more take charge and more action-oriented, there's more opportunities to get into that emotional heart space. All right, I think, let me just check in. I said a lot during the show that of things I was going to do. I should be taking notes. Let me see. All right. All right, so I think that is all that we have for right now. We gave you housekeeping updates. We gave you all the homework if you want to join the next show coming up. And I think I will leave you at that as my voice is starting to crack. Thank you all so much for joining me here. I love you all greatly, and I will see you all again soon. Take care. Thank you for listening to this podcast. It has been brought to you by the Bringers of the Light, an etheric group of higher light beings focused on service to Gaia, humanity, and the self as it pertains to the spiritual journey. So they are here to support you on your path to love and to working with others. Thank you so much for joining us. Take care.